silent mode while we wait for other participants to join. Thank you. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to extend a very warm welcome to the honorable speakers and moderator, Dr. Bordin Waitala from Prince of Songkla University, Thailand, Associate Professor Dr. Pon Pawi from Prince Songkla University, Thailand, Dr. Edi Dwirianto from Faculty of Humanities, Universitas Airlangga, and Mr. Lastiko Endi from Faculty of Humanities, Universitas Airlangga. The organizing committee and all participants who join us today, thank you and welcome to the Airlangga Global Day Youth and Contemporary Local Culture webinar. My name is Nastiti and I will be the master of ceremony for today's webinar. I would like to invite all the panelists to stand by for a moment and activate your camera since we are going to take a group photo. And I will count to three. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Once more, 1, 2, 3. Thank you. Before we start, I would like to introduce our moderator who will be managing the webinar functionality throughout the session. Mr. Lastiko Endi is a lecturer in the English Department, Faculty of Humanities, Universitas Airlangga. He achieved his master's degree in Literature and Culture Studies from Universitas Airlangga in 2012. His studies covered on gender and sexuality, youth culture, and esports. Apart from being a lecturer in English Department, Mr. Lastiko Endi is also an e-learning instructor, Treasure Studies Grant Implementation Coordinator, and Secretary of the Center for Career Entrepreneurship Development in Universitas Airlangga. Mr. Lastiko Endi, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Mbak Nastiti, for the opportunities, and thank you for Airlangga Global Engagement for all of the opportunities. Today, I would like to say hello to all of the distinguished speakers, Dr. Bodin, Associate Professor Dr. Pon Pawi, and also Dr. Edi Dwirianto. So before we start the webinar, I'm just going to deliver the short biographies for all of the speakers. Just going to wait. Nah. Okay. So basically, before we start, the speakers will be given 20 minutes time to deliver his or her presentation. For the audience, for those who want to deliver questions, you can write at the Q&A section at the box down below. So later on, after the speakers have finished their presentation, I'm just going to open the Q&A session. So the first speaker will be from, I'm just going to read the biography for all of the speakers first before we start the presentation. The first speaker will be Dr. Bordin Waitala, is a university lecturer in English, Faculty of Humanities and Social Sciences. He is also a Secretary General of Bumiputra Arsa, the Volunteers for Community Service Association, and also a Vice President for Student Development in Prince of Songkla University. He got his MA English at Prince of Songkla University, Thailand, and his educational doctor in Applied Educational Studies in Oklahoma State University, USA, within a dissertation entitled A Grid and Group Explanation of Educational Preferences in English as a Foreign Language, a case study of university classroom in Thailand. During these years, he had many experiences in developing Thailand's national identity and has joined many international conferences related to his expertise. From 2000 to the present day, he has been the speaker for international conferences in Thailand, Singapore, China, Germany, USA, Denmark, Malaysia, Indonesia, Hong Kong, and Romania. His special interest in teaching English to non-native English speakers, interfaith and multicultural dialogues, and peace buildings, and his recent publications are mostly related to teaching English to non-native English speakers, such as what constitutes an effective English teacher, perception of Thai tertiary learners in Thailand, distinctive aspects of native and non-native English-speaking teachers and their performance in Thai universities. And the last one is an analysis of the written errors of Thai EFL students' essay writing in English. Some subjects that he taught, like English for International Student Program, English for Executives, Public Speaking, English Language and Culture, Applied Linguistics, English for Graduate Studies, and English for Social Development Administration. For the second speaker will be Associate Professor Dr. Porn Pawi Pumkert, is the Director of Princess Kalyani Padana Institute of Cultural Studies, Prince of Songkla University, from 2010 till present. During 2011 to 2018, she was an Associate Dean for Academic at the Faculty of Humanities and Social Sciences. She has a master's degree in history from Chulalongkorn University in 1995 and received her PhD in Cultural Studies from Taksin University in 2006. She was a university lecturer of history and general education course. She applied the teaching and learning process, including the benefits of the research to the community and society. Moreover, she has a team which collaboratively work together to set objectives for learning teaching management of Princess Kalyani Padana Institute of Cultural Studies. She integrated the teaching management together with a mission for art cultural conservation, researches, social services, and community-based learning and research-based learning, which is an integrated learning process based on the local learning resources for culture guide, miracle of wisdom, and also creative craft subject. She has created awareness of youth to value and love local culture through various forms and processes. Her research, the conservation and development of Juantani fabric weaving for promoting the community-based tourism Bantrang Mayu District Pattani Province, has built a good relationship with community and fabric weaving group in the area. It is embedded in the miracle of wisdom and creative craft subject that is conducted through creative community research-based learning by using Bantrang Community Mayu Pattani as a learning center on local handicraft works and local wisdom. Her recent researches are PSU Pattani Action toward the Development of Art and Culture, Pattani City Heritage Trail, Local Fabrics to Creative Economy in 3 southern border provinces of Thailand, the cultural interaction of community of Muang Pattani, and the last one is integrated teaching and learning management and application of Flash Start program in the Man and Civilization Heritage subject. The last one is the third speaker, who is Edi Dwi Rianto, PhD. He finished her undergraduate and master degree from Universitas Gadjah Mada. He holds his PhD program from Monash University. He has been working at Universitas Airlangga for more than 20 years, and his main research interests include contemporary local culture, youth culture, and wellness. So welcome to all of the speakers. So without further ado, I'm just going to ask the first speaker of today's webinar, Dr. Bordin Wailata, to start his presentation. Time's yours, Dr. Bordin.
Thank you very much, Bapak Laskito, as a moderator for our webinar today. And I would like to extend my gratitude to University of Airlangga that you include us in your session today, that you have a global day, which is such a wonderful activities that you make for the university and students. And also to Prince of Songkla University, where I'm working for. And the last one but not least is to technology, that we can meet on the sky, whether we are not in person, talking in person, but technology can make it happen. So let me share my PowerPoint that I have been given 20 minutes for sharing experience that what I have done so far with youth in order to preserve local cultures in multipluralism, society here in Pattani. So this is the topic that I'm going to invite all our participants to my presentation, within just, 20 minutes. First of all, let me give you some brief information about my university, which is called Prince of Songkla University, which is located in Thailand, of course, and founded in 1967, or you may say, let's say 20 or 53 years ago. The name of the university was granted by the King Bhumibol Adulyadej, which is the current king's father, not grandfather, but King Prince of Songkla University is, the current king's grandfather name. It is a multi-campus and comprehensive university. It's located in southern Thailand. You can see that this is the map of the universities. So we have 5 campuses: Pattani, Hat Yai, Trang, Phuket, and Surat Thani. Those are 5 campuses located in southern Thailand, and we have accommodate almost 40,000 students for the whole 5 campuses, and with 33 faculties and colleges. And we are, PSU is one of the 9 national research universities in the kingdom. So this is, you may know in a glance. So then after that, I would like you to go to have a look at Pattani in a glance, in a quick look. What is Pattani is like, where PSU Pattani is located. So history of Pattani, I would like to invite all our participants together to go back to the 8th century. And we have varieties of, of believers from past generation until now. Not Islam has come later. Before Islam, it used to be like, Hinduism, Buddhism, but right now we have multicultural, belief in this area. But politically, the Southern Peninsula has evolved from an independent state to one of the global movement in nowadays. But Pattani used to be an independent state in nowadays, let's say dating back to the 8th centuries. And Pattani has been called in different names. If you go to research and find literature, Lankasuka is one of them, Pattani, or even Pattani in Arabic words. So those are, under the same concept of Pattani at the current moment. And this province homes of unique culture, having its own language called Pattani Malay, which is almost the same or identical with Kelantanese. Kita boleh cakap dengan bahasa Melayu. Biasanya orang di sini yang Muslim boleh bisa dengan cakap dengan bahasa Melayu. Tapi a little bit Cantonese. So the demography here is almost 80% are Muslims, and the people enjoy practicing other faiths as well, including Buddhism, Christianity, and others. So these are the brief introduction of Pattani. But on the other side, I would like to take you all to have a look at the values and character of youth in nowadays, because we are talking about youth, right? So youth in nowadays, some of them they call Gen Y or Gen Z or whatever, or Times Magazine they call Gen Me. So the values and characteristics of these generations have, like confidence, and they have their own confidence in doing something, and achievement focus. So whatever they want to do, they have a certain focus they want to achieve, and also working in team. They like to work in team, not working as individual, and work-life balance. So they go to work, and sometimes they spend some time for going traveling around the world, for example. And IT native, so they was born with iPad and internet from side by side when they were when they were born. And the last one is not really good, but anyway, it's the literature, cited, look at me, normally centralized, look at me at first stage, and then impatient in doing something. So they want to have doing something in quick, and then when they finish, and they want to go to do something else. So this is a generation that we are dealing with nowadays. So we have 2 scenarios, right? On the right hand side, we have youth in Gen Y, right? Stay with now. This generation mostly pays attention with what's going on in their life. Staying with now at the moment. And gap with previous generation. For example, they have gap between with their parents or with their teachers because they think differently, and especially the mindset and behavior. And then the third one is they are sticking with cyber world. They stay connected almost 24/7 through social media and other platforms. But on the right, on the left-hand side, we have another scenario, which is about local culture, which is focused on history, and that we have to flash back to the historical evolution of Pattani in the past until nowadays. So this is how can we get youth into the history and multiculturalism, many different believers and variety of religious sites in the ground, on the ground. So how can they learn, not only themselves, but they have to learn something, surrounding them. But the last one, but not least, is about the unique ways of life. Because in this area, in Pattani in particular, people interact with each other in their daily life practice, not regardless their religion, regardless their faith, regardless what they have in the background. But being here as a people of Pattani, they mingle among themselves. And how can we get those youth, to interact with local cultures? But anyway, we have a strength of Gen Y as well. Gen Y, we have enormous power, of course. You may know that these youth have enormous power. When they are interested in doing something, they will crazily do it as a change agent. So how can we use our youth as a change agent? This is the most important thing. Number two is that the joy of teamwork. They like to work with their friends, right? Because they never want to be isolated from a group. And then number three is that they are pretty keen in multimedia presentation. Whatever they expose, and they can make it as a presentation, especially online, because they are IT native. And they are brilliant in creative using digital technology for presentation. And the last one but not least is about social media network. Of course, all social network, or you name it, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all of them are in their hands. So whatever they communicate on social media, they will be trendy in cyber viral after that. So how can we get those four things to uphold and boost the learning of our generation? So coming to my question is, how could PSU as a higher institution in the area engage and embrace youth with their local culture and empower them to promote local identity? This is not such easy work, right? To get youth and to connect and embrace with our local culture. So this is our question. So to my presentation today is I would like to give you a case study what I have done so far with the last few years, which is I can call Jacaranda Blossoms on Pattani Heritage City Route project, which is a case study. You may know what does it mean, Jacaranda? Jacaranda is right here. It is flowers and it is represent PSU. And then they goes around in the city and I may say that they blossoms in the city. So you may say that this is the idea, the objective, what I have done about Jacaranda Blossoms, to welcome freshmen of PSU once they arrive to the campus, and then we welcome them. And number two is that we take them to learn in a real setting, in the community, rather than only in classroom. And the third one is we want to integrate with classroom learning. So we try to take all the essence, all the important literature and going to their study class. And the last one is that we like to make them a sense of one big family between PSU and community, that we are closely interconnected. And this is annual event, whole day activities started in last 3 years. And normally we done this project last few weeks after the new intake coming in, and we take them walk from the campus to the city, let's say all together on around the circle about 9 kilometers, and the participant, let's say about 2,500 and 3,000 students participant all together. So this is the protocol of walking protocol that we take them. We have to meet and greet first. All VIPs are invited to the grand opening ceremony and telling the objective and give them some blessing words to the newcomers. And number two is that we will let them walk from PSU Pattani to the Pattani Provincial Hall, and right there and we stop there. It takes about, let's say, 3 kilometers from the campus. And then number C is that we like them walking in the Pattani Heritage City route, which is about, they have to stop by all 10 landmarks of Pattani and assign them to do group activities, and they have to check in and post on Instagram or Facebook or whatever media they have in their hands. And then they just take a bus coming back to the campus. So that's it, the protocol. So then right after that, this is the route, or we call Pattani Heritage City Route. This is from PSU going down to the city route, here all together. So these are 10 checkpoints that students are supposed to stop. And they have to study with the community together with the seniors. So let's say Pattani, PSU Pattani Pirom, which is PSU town office, and which is for the outreach project. And this is, so you can go 1 to 10. So I want to highlight you the font that I make it in red, which is number 4, Me Lim Konyo, Chinese shrine. This is represent the Chinese community. And number 6, which is Pattani Central Mosque, which is represent Muslim and Malay believers. And number 10, which is a Buddhist temple. So those areas they have to walk under 6 kilometers, and students are divided into 2 big groups going, clockwise and anti-clockwise. This is, they have been all students have been assigned before going to walk. So this is the picture of Pattani Central Mosque, or Masjid Jamack in Pattani. It was built, almost 60 years ago, and this is the place or landmark for Muslim believers and for Malayu people as well. So you can see that how marvelous and gorgeous the mosque is. And the number 2 is that Wat Tani Narak Samoson, Buddhist temple. This is a Buddhist temple and used to be a royal monastery during King Rama the 5. That, and right now we are King Rama the 10th. So many years ago, almost 150 years ago. Then you can see that Lim Konyo Chinese shrine. So these are on the area of the walking side. So mostly if you are Chinese, not only in Thailand, but also in ASEAN, even from Singapore, from Malaysia, from Indonesia, when they come to Pattani, normally they come and pay respect to this shrine in Pattani. So then, and when they're going to walk, so this led by Pattani governor and mayors and Pattani provincial administration president, alumni association president, alumni of PSU, and vice presidents, executive team members, dean, vice dean, etc., and faculty members and staff, and all student union members going along with the new intakers, the new intake student. So actually, I have a clip. Let's watch the official clip of the event. Actually, I have done it 3 years ago, so I have 3 official clips. So right now, I have clip number 1, number 2, number 3, and the length, number 1 is 7 minutes, number 2 is 3 minutes, number 3 is 5 minutes. Because of the time constraint, which one do you like to watch? So this is, I would like to make an interaction with the audience. So if you can say number 1, number 2, number 3, and then I want to click to that representative, clip. So which one do you like to? I may invite Laskito. Which one do you like to watch?
I think considering that the latest will always be the greatest, so I'm just going to choose the 2020 version.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. But it's 5 minutes. I'm afraid that I have enough time.
We have still 5 minutes to go. Actually, you're going to end at 2 o'clock, so it's still like 1:55. So I think it's still enough to play that one.
Okay, sure. I'm sorry in Thai a little bit, but if you can understand Thai, but I will translate you what is the strength of Pattani. I would like to talk to my students is that about our multiculturalism.
ถ้าเปรียบเสมือนก็คือดอกไม้
If you want
ห
to
ลายสี
compare
อยู่ใน
that
เจ
this
กัน
area is like we have multicolored flower vase
ด้วยความหลาก
in
ห
the
ลายของ
same
วัฒนธรรม
place.
ที่นี่จะเป็นเสน่ห์อย่างหนึ่งที่
Because of
จะ
different
ให้น้อง
multicultural
ๆนักศึกษาทุก
society
คน
here,
นะครับ
it is
ได้ศึกษาเรียน
very
รู้
charming for
ว่า
Pattani.
ความงดงามของความเจริญรุ่งเรืองในอดีต
This
ที่ผ่านมานั้น
reflects that
ปัจจุบันนี้
the
ก็ยัง
abandon of
มีความคงให้เห็นอยู่
civilization in the past until now. This is on campus.
ผมหวังเป็นอย่างยิ่งนะครับว่าพวกเรา4 ปี
I
ที่อยู่ใน
believe
รั้ว
that
มหา
when
ลั
I
ย
here
จะเป็น
4
อนาคต
years,
ที่จะสร้าง
we
ชุมช
will
นให้
be
มีความ
a
เข้มแข็
great
ง
new
ต่อไป
agent for the future generation of Thailand.
ก็ขอต้อนรับลูกหลาน
I would
ที่
like
จะ
to
มาเป็น
welcome
นักศึกษา
our kids,
ของมอ
our
ปัต
new
ตานีด้วย
intake
ความยินดียิ่งครับ
to
ผมต้อง
PSU
ขอ
Pattani.
ฝากลูกหลานทุกท่านนะครับให้จบการศึกษา
I
ไป
wish
แล้ว
all of you can graduate
ประเทศ
within
ชาติ
the
ให้
design
ยั่งยืนต่อ
years,
ไป
4 years
ขอบคุณและ
without.
ต้อน
And
รับ
I
นัก
believe
ศึก
that
ษา
you
ทุ
can
ก
be
ท่านครับ
good people in the future. And then they start running and going. You know that? So this is the people, and we work together with generation Y people.
ตอนนี้มาถึงจุดบริเวณสะพานศักดิ์เสนีที่
Right now we
หอนาฬิกา
are on the
สาม
bridge,
วัฒนธรรมซึ่งจุดนี้เป็นจุดแลนด์มาร์ค
cultures,
สำคัญอีกจุดหนึ่ง
Chinese,
เพื่อสื่อ
Buddhism,
ให้เห็นถึง
and
การอยู่ร่วมกันใน
Malayu.
สังคมพ
How
หุ
can
วั
we
ฒนธรรม
live peacefully in this area?
พื้นที่ย่านเมืองเก่าที่เราจะเดินบนเส้นทางพหุวัฒนธรรม
This is the old city route
ถึงการมา
that I would like you to learn outside the classroom together with villages and
เส้น
communities.
ทางนี้ขอให้เราเดินด้วยเป้าหมายแห่งการเรียนรู้
This
ขอให้เราเดิน
walking
ด้วยความขอบคุณ
under Jacaranda Blossom Project, I believe that we have your own direction, going to go for your life. So these are new students. They're wearing the same uniform.
ขณะนี้มีนิทรรศการนะคะเกี่ยวข้องกับย่านตลาดจีนเดิมนะคะที่มหา
This
วิท
is
ยาลัยของ
Vice
เรานั้นได้
President
มา
of
ทำงาน
Pattani
ในพื้น
Campus,
ที่นี้เป็น
Associate
แหล่งเรีย
Professor
นรู้แหล่ง
Engineer
ใหญ่
Kun
ข
Sukbang.
องนักศึกษาค่ะ
Working with students as well. So they learn history of Pattani, painting on the wall, and they know that how Pattani
สวัสดี
was
ค่ะ วันนี้
like
เราก็
gorgeous.
มาร่วมกิจกรรมของม
So
หาลัยกัน
students,
นะ
they
คะ
take,
หนูอยู่เอกจิตวิทยา
Facebook
นะคะ
Live
สวัสดี
and
ค่ะ
post it online,
เราก็มา
and
ดู
to
ดนตรี
let
สา
their
มวัฒนธรรม
mothers
กัน
know
ค่ะ
that their mothers are in somewhere in
นี่คือวัฒนธรร
Thailand.
มรวมเป็น3วัฒนธรรมนะคะ ก็คือวัฒนธรรมจีน แล้วก็
So
มาลา
Chinese
ยูค่ะ แล้วก็วัฒ
and
นธรรมไทย
Malayu
นะคะ
and Thai.
มีเครื่องดนตรีที่หลากหลายเลยค่ะ
รู้สึกดีใจค่ะที่ว่ามหาลัยจัดกิจกรรมสีตั้ง
I
ส
am
ร้าง
so
บ้านให้
pleased that
เราได้
university
เรียน
hold
รู้
this
ได้
project,
เดินไปในพื้น
that
ที่
we
ใน
can
ชุมชน
walk
ไม่
and
ว่า
know
จะเป็น
the
สถานที่ประวัติ
community,
ศาสตร์ต่างๆ ที่ยังมีร่องรอยเหลืออยู่
and
ให้
we
เราได้ศึ
know
กษา
that
ต่อ
from
ไป
the
ค่ะ
artifacts from the history
ที่
until
เราประทับ
now.
ใจก็คือศิลปะร่วมสมัยข
The
อง
most
จี
important
น
thing
ลาย
is
ยู
about
ค่ะก็คือศิล
contemporary,
ปะมันร่วมสมัยกันหมดเลยมัสยิดจะมีลาย
that
จีน
I
เข้ามาแทร
can
ก
know
ด้วย
even
หรือ
in the
ในชุม
mosque,
ชน
in
จีนจะมีลาย
masjid,
มาลายู
or
เข้า
in
มาแทร
the
กด้วย
Chinese
ทำให้แบบ
shrine,
เฮ้ย
they are
มันอยู่
mingled.
ร่วมกันได้นะ
So
มันไม่
my
มีความแตกแย
generation
กกัน
can
นะ
learn with this kind of local cultures from the past until
สิ่ง
now.
บางสิ่งยิ่งเก่ามันจะยิ่งสวยมันจะมีเสน่ห์
Many
ที่
things that
ให้เรา
the
ฝึกหาแล้วก็แบ
older,
บดึงดูด
the
เราเข้า
most
ไปศึก
wonderful
ษามัน
things. So
การ
that's
เดิน
why
ครั้ง
I
นี้มัน
can
ไม่เสีย
learn
เปล่า
from
อ่ะ
this
เรา
kind
สามารถ
of
ได้ความ
things.
รู้กับมันได้
So I
เขาบ
learned
อกว่าความ
how
รู้ไม่ได้มีแค่ในห้อง
brilliant
คิดถูก
our older generation make it.
สิ่งนี้ยังไม่เคยปรากฏคิดว่า
This
ยัง
is
ไม่
the
เคยปราก
new
ฏว่ามีการ
phenomenon
รับน้อง
of
ใหม่แล้ว
taking
ก็ออก
new
ไปทำกับ
intake
ชุมชนข้าง
students
นอก
coming
ผมคิดว่ามันจะเป็น
outside the
การ
campus
ฝากเนื้อฝาก
and
ตัวแล้ว
learn
ก็สลัก
with the
ให้กับประวัติตัวเอง
community,
ว่าครั้งหนึ่งใน
and
ชี
we
วิต
learn
4 ปีใน
together.
รั้วมหา
Once
วิทยาลัย
in their
เขา
lifetime
ได้
of
มาอยู่
coming
ปัต
to
ตานี
study in
แล้วก็ได้
PSU
สัม
Pattani,
ผัสกลิ่นอาย
and they
ของ
can
ความเป็นปัตตานีในอ
take
ดีต
and
ไปดู
taste
ชุม
the
ชนที่มี
flavor
ศิลปะวัฒน
of
ธรรมสถาปัตยกรร
historical
มที่โดด
Pattani
เด่น
in the
ก็ได้
older
ไปดู
time
ชุมชนซึ่
until
งเป็นศูนย์
nowadays.
กลาง
And the people
การป
here
กครอง
are
ศูนย์ก
also
ลาง
welcome
การสอนศาส
our
นา
new
และก็จะได้สัมผัสกับ
student
ชาวบ้าน
to
ด้วย
be
ความจริงใจ
one of
ได้ซึม
our
ซับความเป็นปัตตานี
family
ของเขาว่า
members.
ครั้งหนึ่งเขาได้อยู่ปัตตานี เมื่อเขาจากปัตตานีเขาก็คิดถึงแล้วก็
Once they
ภูมิ
leave
ใจปัตตานี
Pattani, they will remember what Pattani was going on. Okay, that was the videos that I proudly present to you all. And then I have another I'm sorry. Let me move. I'm sorry. This is a bit technical problem that I cannot share. I have some few more slides to go. Lastico, can I?
Mhm.
Because I'm not sure right now whether I can.
Okay.
Okay.
So
This,
Mbak
I want,
Nastiti?
okay, that's it. Can you see that?
Yes, we can see the website. Is it
Right. Yeah.
you're
Okay. Now
showing?
I want to make a summary that
Mhm.
community involvement, local foods, PSU contact the local food stands all along the route and to serve local food and exotic foods with coupon and other bags and drinks and umbrella in order to have a social distancing in COVID-19. So we got these from the private sector, from the convenience store in Pattani, and also we got a live broadcast from a local media to show them. And
Sorry, Dr. Borden. We cannot see your PowerPoint slides. What we
oh,
can see is your screen that shows the website. It is in Thai language.
oh really?
Yeah.
Let me. Uh, I'm so sorry that.
Okay, sure. It's okay.
Okay, now
Uh-huh.
it
Yes, we can see.
yeah. Okay,
Mhm.
I want to go back. This is multipluralist community of Pattani, so students can learn about culture,
Mhm.
about ways of life, and about blessing words and history and scenery along the way of their walking route. So these activities should meet. So these activities should meet their interest, joy in attainment, and group process. This is that's something that we learn with students, with youth, and then from the ground to classroom, and then we take this kind of walking activities to classroom with two subjects, which is under general education, which all students have to enroll. Your civic education and culture guides, and Dr. Ponpawi is one of the teachers there. So we take those kind of activities to classroom and to content design with teachers and discuss and make a presentation in classroom. And although they share to the worldwide of the activities once the official clip has been done. So an online platform, we use online platform starting from registration and check-in at the check-in points. So they have to post online and make hashtag and evaluation. So all of these are under the online platform. So and then the last one but not least, I think the lesson that I have learned from this activity is that how to engage youth, especially Gen Y, in activities. Number one is we have to start with something fun, right? We should not start with something serious. So this generation, they like something fun, and then loosely structured organization. And number three is a collaboration as groups. And number four is that participation right from at the beginning. So if we invite all youth to participate in our activities to design right at the beginning until the end. And the last one is that about we want to recap these activities in more serious issues, more critical ways. So at the end, for example, in this case, I take to classroom activities. So they want to take that. So before I stop my presentation, I like the Franklin Roosevelt, words. We cannot always build the future of our youth, but we can build our youth for the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Borden. It was a very interesting presentation. So let's move on to Associate Professor Dr. Porn Bowie.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Okay,
time's
let's
yours,
go. Yes,
Associate
yes,
Professor Dr. Porn Bowie.
yes. Good afternoon, everyone. I would like to share my experience integrated teaching and learning, academic service, and research, and to local culture consciousness. And do you hear?
Yes, of course, we can hear your presentation, Dr. Porn Bowie, but
Okay.
we cannot see your slides. Okay.
Okay.
Just wait. Yeah, we
The
can see.
fashion
Is it
show.
Facebook?
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
Fashion show one process to local culture consciousness because she wear Dima batik from cultural study. Okay. Okay, sorry.
Sure, it's okay.
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 Okay. Okay. Use the local cultural consciousness. Okay. A culture is the way of life of a group of a people. The behaviors, beliefs, values, and symbols that they accept, generally without thinking about them, and that are passed along by communication and imitation from one generation to next. Culture is symbolic communication. Okay, culture is always evolving. Moreover, new things are added to material culture every day, and they affect non-material culture as well. Culture change when something new opens up new way of living and when new idea enter a culture. 3 reasons: discovery, invention, and diffusion. And innovation refers to an object or concept initial experience in society. It's innovative because it is markedly new. There are 2 ways to come across an innovative object or idea: discover it or invent it. Thai classical dance drama, Khon Thai classical dance drama, and mixed string combo. It's print of Songkla at print of Songkla, Nakrin, Hat Yai campus. Again, the mix and over time to present time. I think contemporary culture. Discovery and invention to innovation. Inventions may shape a culture where people use them in place of already ways of carrying out activities and relating to others, or as a way to carry out new kinds of activities. Their adoption reflects cultural values, and their use may require new norms for new situations. Material culture tend to diffuse more quickly than non-material culture. Technology can spread through society in a matter of months, but it can take generations for the idea and beliefs of society to change. Culture is a reflection of the value of way of life that community and localities have developed and created as a tool for life through expressing in various ways. These expressions are revealed in the forms of people's way of life, traditions, wisdom, art performance, for the purpose of raising awareness and building motivation of local communities, consciousness, and participation in restoring, disseminating, and inheriting local wisdom. In the middle of cultural diversity under globalization, culture have been passed on and exchanging knowledge on the times. On the other hand, if cultural heritage had not been inherited, preserved with reconstruction, and developed with social and physical values, 3, there might be a diminution of cultural heritage value consequently. And performance Panchasila. Okay, culture and way of life arises from accumulating knowledge in each locality have distinctive characteristics that differ according to the local conditions, in which each area has a variety of wisdom, and it should be eventually passed on to the younger generations, should be eventually passed on to, onto the younger generation. Nevertheless, to make the culture and wisdom remain existing sustainably, the role of recovering has to be put in practice. We therefore have to accept the cultural change that must be aligned with the times as contemporary to create social values and increase economic values. Okay, and the younger, they can make batik in the local culture. To generation incomes add value as well as economic value based on cultural capital for local and community development. And many products of local culture, lima batik, okay, and the fabric. The conversation and development of Pattani fabric weaving for promoting the community-based tourism, Ban Trang Mayor District, Pattani Province, by engaging the community from the knowledge base, expanding the idea, restoring of the community wisdom, and reviving local economic strength to remain in the society respectively. It has built a good relationship with community and fabric weaving group in the area. It is embedded in the miracle of wisdom, culture guide, and creative craft subjects that is conducted through creative, community, and research-based learning by using Ban Trang Community Mayor Pattani as a learning center on local handicraft works and local wisdom. Eventually, this also creates an awakening trend in the conservation of the southern border fabric and close in Pattani province to encourage the youth to realize and appreciate the value of local fabric wisdom, including the use of fabric in a concrete practice in the society. The culture capital development guideline based on the concept of driving the creative economy. Yes, student in Prince Songkla University. Yes, and Miss Grand Thailand. The research collaboratively developed weaving products, including pattern, woven, packaging, development, and tourism promotion for Ban Trang community. Therefore, Ban Trang community was selected to be the learning center for students to learn, share, and practice. This eventually creates happiness to learners, teachers, and community in collaboration for local wisdom conservation to Pattani, in Pattani. Besides that, is an added value to the local cultural heritage. Okay, and process. Okay, before and after development and research. From the experience of integrating teaching and learning with researchers throughout the project of academic service and social mission of Ban Trang community in Mayor Pattani, there is a model which is developed for area development by bringing cultural capital to creative economy. Consequently, also there is development of various projects in the community, such as to develop lima batik fabric from wooden blocks and metal blocks. This is to apply pattern which is an inspiration of an antique Pattani pattern, and to promote a community enterprise of Raya Batik Group at Khautum Sub-District, Yarang District in Pattani. Okay, at PSU Craft Studio, Princess Kalayani Watana, Prince Songkla Nakarin University, and the younger and the practice at here. Okay, and develop Lima Batik. Okay, and many products, bag and shirt, yeah, for the younger. And model of Bantrang, model of Khautum, Yarang, Pattani to Jabang Makan market. The integrate research, academic service, and learning and teaching. A project Jabang Makan market, a project creative tourism development of Jabang Tikor in Pattani has also developed several activities to promote local cultural consciousness. This research Prince of Songkla University Pattani's action towards the development of art and culture Pattani City Heritage Trail, creative economy. Okay, I have a clip. In the market, Jabang Makan. It's a Pattani recipe. Okay. Which is a collaborative research with community in Pattani consisting of Chinese, Malayu, and Buddhist communities. Obviously, that community represents the variety of cultural difference, including various cultural touristic places exist in the area, which all these Latino or student of culture guide subject will participate in research process in collecting data on art and cultures in the community and work closely with the community members together with the teachers. The students are also able to do assessment and be a tour guide to introduce cultural touristic place in the community. These lecturers will continuously be qualified instructor for the students and beneficial to teaching and learning, protecting cultural heritage, research, and community service. Okay. Okay. Thank you very much for my presentation.
Thank you so much, Socius Professor, for it was a very nice presentation to deal with students in University of Songkla. Now let's come to the last presenter, Bapak Edi Dwiriyato, Dr. Edi Dwiriyato, PhD.
Thank you, Andy. Okay, I'm happy to be with Pak Andy because Pak Andy is in our team teaching youth culture. Let's thank you, Pak Andy, to be with us, and thank you for
Pak Edi, for giving me the opportunity.
Pattani and everybody. First of all, before I present my own presentation, I would like to share something about Pattani. Yeah, this is what I know about Pattani. That's from the movies. Kayat Merong Mahawangsa and Queens of Lankasuka. Yeah. Especially Queens of Lankasuka. I was surprised when I watched these movies because there were stories about Putri Hijau, Putri Biru, yeah, which was quite familiar for me actually. How can Putri Hijau be becoming a part of stories from, at that time was quite strange what language was that. So I searched for Lankasuka. Where was Lankasuka? And then I don't know that Langkasuka has been Pattani. Yeah. So what is interesting about Langkasuka is the importance of water, yeah, or ocean as the life and the civilization of Langkasuka at the time. The people of the water was contributing so much for the life of the Langkasuka. And for that reason, I would like to propose archipelago collaboration. Yeah, so after the end of this webinar, I hope UNAIR and Prince Songkla University would continue our collaboration. Like, for example, Prof. Ponpawain has presented batik. I think we can share a lot about batik. Yeah, we have plenty of resources also about batik. And about food, also music. I would like to share about music after this. So AGA for this Mbak Nastiti, yeah. If possible, we can collaborate more with Prince Songkla University after this webinar. So this is not the, after this webinar ends, this will be not the end of the collaboration. Okay, now I would like to show you this video. Can you see this movie? Yeah, okay. Okay. Let's go back to my slide. Yeah. So that is what happened to Kebogiro Gending. Yeah. So my title is here. Youth playfully play local music. The case of Kebogiro Koplo. Kebogiro Koplo. That is a complicated combination. So I will discuss about the key terms dangdut, koplo, and kebogiro, and then we will see a bit that kebogiro is a sacred music, and then how we will see how dangdut from the historical perspective, and then a socio-cultural perspective of kebogiro, and then the importance of hybrid and remix, and then playful creativity. So let's start from Kebogiro, Dangdut, and Koplo. Kebogiro is a Javanese traditional gending composition. So it is a traditional one. It is a composition, it's like a song. While Dangdut, from the word Dangdut, it's an onomatopoeia. It is an Indonesian most popular music. It's the most popular music from Indonesia. While Koplo is a branch of Dangdut. We can say it a branch of Dangdut. Emerged from East Java, Surabaya, and its surrounding. So here is gamelan. So a gending should be produced in this set of gamelan. While so gamelan refers to set of instrument. And this has been around from more than 1,000 years in Indonesia. Yeah, while Karawitan is performing the music, gending, yeah, gending kebogiro is a piece of performance. Gamelan has been around since 8th century, as we see, for example, from the relief in Borobudur. There are some instruments of music such as gamelan, and Borobudur was built during the 8th century. So the gamelan is very old tradition, 1200 years. And gending kebogiro should be sacred. Gending temanten, here we said gending temanten, temanten is wedding ceremony, yeah. Gending for wedding ceremony, so it should be sacred. It is for the accompaniment to boost the sacred atmosphere of gending. So that is the actual position of gending kebogiro, and I think you saw from the video how important the gending was to the process of the wedding ceremony. Yeah, the meaning is not only just an accompaniment, but it's also to educate the audience about the importance of wedding, the importance of family, and of course to strengthen the spiritual way of the ceremony itself. And that is kebogiro. How about dangdut? Dangdut is very popular until today. It is like here from the picture, it's played everywhere, just in a small alley, yeah, very easy to play here. And most important thing is, I think, the kendang here, yeah, to produce the sound dangdut, onomatopoeia, dangdut. That is dangdut. If it is contrasted to the gending or gamelan, yeah, dangdut is something new. I think started from 1970s. Yeah, it's about 50 years, while gamelan is 1200 years more. Okay, and the origin of dangdut is from Melayu, Melayu music. But here you see, this is not kendang, yeah, or different kind of kendang, but the way he plays is it's only one piece of kendang. It's very different, but dangdut was originally from Melayu music. Here, thanks to Roma Irama, yeah, Melayu music was brought to Jakarta, yeah, because Jakarta was the center of Indonesia, yeah, the capital city of Indonesia. So many people went and go and will go to Jakarta because it is the center of power, center of economy, where the money was there. Roma Irama saw and listened to dangdut, and of course, as a young people at that time, Roma Irama also consumed what was become the flood, yeah, the huge wave of rock music throughout the global music scene at that time in 1970s, 1980s. So Roma Irama, as Indonesian youth in Jakarta, consumed both music, that is rock music, and Melayu music, and he wanted to play Melayu music, but he didn't think that would be good because Melayu was so traditional. It for him, it just gave a little appeal for young people. So he decided to combine with rock music. He liked rock music itself very much, and he played rock music before he played Melayu music. So he combined that, especially by adding the guitar elements of music of the compositions. So as we know that in rock music, guitar is one of the important instruments in the rock music. And Roma Irama insert guitar, the way guitar is played by rock musicians. Roma Irama did that. And the result is Roma Irama become the king of dangdut, yeah, by combining Melayu music with rock music. It is good because still dangdut is considered as native, local, and Islam music. But if we observe carefully, one of the key element is guitar here. Although kendang, of course, become the trademark of dangdut because even the word dangdut itself from the sound of kendang. But if we listen carefully, guitar signify the transformation from Melayu music into dangdut music. That is dangdut, yeah. And it's become Indonesian music. It's become very popular. Here, Anugerah Dangdut Indonesia, and so on and so on. It's become national. The question is it enough to be Indonesia, or what is Indonesia? Yeah, defining Indonesian music is very hard. Yeah, take a look a bit again on the history of dangdut. Yeah, from Melayu music in Sumatra, brought to Jakarta. Yeah, and there mixed with rock music by Roma Irama. And then here we have one new elements that is from Surabaya and surroundings, especially maybe about 30 or 40 kilometers in the south of Surabaya. That emerged koplo music, koplo music from the neighbor of Surabaya. Koplo can be seen as localization of national music, localization of dangdut as local music. Somebody would say it is a cross-fertilization between national dangdut with local content. That is koplo. Yeah, koplo here. Actually, Roma Irama is not from Jakarta, but he is from Tasikmalaya. But of course, the scene of the location he processed Melayu to be dangdut was in Jakarta. But the koplo is local West Java, especially Surabaya here, as we see from the important artists like Inul Daratista from 1990 1993, about that, and 2000, and now we have Via Valen from Sidoarjo. So all of them are from Surabaya and its surrounding. So again, Koplo was like the contribution of local East Java into Indonesian national music. Here we see the evolution, not really the evolution, the additional instruments from gamelan, instruments into rock, guitar, Roma Irama here, and kendang. And now we see the contribution of technology, that is synthesizer. Although, of course, when we observe guitar, we also know that the contribution of technology was also there already, because what was played by Roma Irama was electric guitar, not an acoustic guitar. So when he played electric guitar, that means some elements of technology was already there. For example, the amplifier and the the sound booster and so on and so on. But synthesizer plays something more, which means that like we see from the clip, we need only 2 persons to produce a piece of gending, even sometimes only 1 person. So this is a very different kind of music production if we compare to a real or true karawitan or gamelan. We need at least about 10 to 15 people to play all of them, all of the instruments. But now we need only 2. Sometimes 1 is enough. So here is the role of the technology, synthesizer here, and koplo, kendang koplo. Again, koplo is what is the most important characteristic of koplo is the way the kendang is played, that is by double beat, and that's a double speed of playing the kendang. So it's produce a very energetic music, and it is very good to dance. So that's why when a gending, traditional gending is koplo sized, then the gending with the sacred become a dancing gending. That is the impact of koplo sized gending. So a possible explanation can be using multicultural approach. For example, here we have different, layers or mosaic or fragments. It's up to you. The fragments of Hinduism, from gamelan. There are some elements of Indian music in the in the Javanese gamelan music was organized. Some elements of Indian music, and then gending itself, kebogiro. There are some elements of Muslim because the wedding ceremony, we can find some Islam cultural elements in the wedding ceremony itself. And when it comes to dangdut, of course, there are some Western culture or musical elements in dangdut. So we have, well, it's up to you. You can use layers or mosaic or whatever. So in koplo kebogiro, kebogiro koplo, we see different multicultural elements of culture. Another explanation, another possible explanation is when we use, for example, here the willingness of young people to contribute in maintaining old tradition, but they use their own way. They are willing to play. They are willing to play traditional music, yes, but in their own way, playfully. Although we note that there are many young people who are willing to play traditional music using traditional method. We noticed that, and we note quite quite plenty. Like in Faculty of Humanities, Airlangga University, we have one Pakar Sajen or Karawitan group, yeah, who play gamelan in traditional way, yeah. But here we discussed that some youth prefer to play traditional music in their own way, that is playfully. If some keywords, yeah, for example, participation, yeah, youth participation for traditions. So how youth participate in the traditions? Yeah, the youth say, okay, I will play, I will participate, but in my own way. That is a youth answer. The other word is reworking. I mean, the youth rework the traditional from their own, in their own way. Using technology, using tools they master to play, not only to express themselves, but to be accepted by other youth. So here, reworking is important because, what is it? If the tradition or the traditional music plays as it is, probably youth are not so interested in them. There was some notes that quite often Javanese culture is considered as adiluhung, or we call it, what is it, high or refined, and that creates distance between the culture itself and the follower or the audience or those who wants to participate in that culture. So in this case, youth wants to say that in reworking those adiluhu or those refined position or those high status should be lowered down in order to make them able to participate. So reworking is important here. Otherwise, they don't want to participate. And the other is revitalization. Revitalization can refer to a lot of articles, a lot of reports, weeping, yeah, how traditions are, you know, destroyed by globalization. And so a lot of people are very sad, yeah, report that, oh my, our tradition is being swept away by the global culture. But young people say, no, we can revitalize them. Yeah, we need to play it differently so we can revitalize the tradition. If you insist on playing it that way, how we can revitalize? So that is the importance of what is it, the creativity done by youth to revitalize tradition. And hybrid remix and technology, those refers to the techniques or the ways youth rework or revitalize the tradition. Hybrid and remix, in the past, I think the best examples of remix, I believe, is the way hip hop emerged in 1970s. Yeah, they remix two pieces of record. They put them into turntables and then they played the remix, the beats of the two, what is it, two disc into one piece of music. That is remix. And I remember when I interviewed hip hoppers from Yogyakarta, and they said that in 1990s they used double decks tape recorder to remix to one play the music and the other to record. So they have to play stop in a very precise moment, and then they combine it. Now, the process of remixing is much easier. What you need is just one laptop or even mobile phone. So in this situation, then we need more engineer, quote by quote, rather than artists to produce a piece of art or a piece of music. As long as you know the technology and the software, you can produce as many music as you can. That is a hybrid remix technology, and then a sacred and profane. Here, Kobogiro is played throughout the process of sacred ceremony. Yeah, but young people playfully play the the gending on the sacred music. Here is like the crossing the border, yeah, the deconstruction of sacred into profane. Here, you know, destroying the dichotomy of sacred and profane. I think time is limited, and Pak Andy, do I still have time?
Yeah, you can still continue your presentation, Pak Edi. Probably
Okay,
3 or 5 minutes left. Yeah.
3 or 5 minutes. Okay, so this is what happens. That is the crossing of the dichotomy of sacred and profane. And well, I think it's a bit complicated, this one. Here Jamack is one of the best dangdut player. As you know, in koplo music, kendang player play a very important roles in koplo music or in dangdut music. Yeah, so it defines the music itself. It defines the koplo music, and Jamack is considered as the second best. And he is quite controversial in terms of his love affair related to famous dangdut performer. And this is another example of how local Jogja traditional music was revitalized using hip hop. They produce Jogja hip hop, yeah, the Jogja hip hop. So hip hop, but stressing or reinforce the identity of local Yogyakarta. This is what happened to Jogja Hip Hop Foundation. I think that's the end of my presentation. Thank you, Andy. Time's back for you.
Thank you so much, Pak Edi, for the very interesting presentation. So I think we've come to the question and answer session. I have to say sorry, but Dr. Bordin has another occasion today. So he couldn't attend till finish. But I'm just going to deliver the questions asked by. So the first one is probably delivered to Associate Professor Dr. Pornpawi. And the second one is to Pak Edi. I'm just going to ask the first question delivered by the audience. So, is the society in Pattani familiar with dangdut or Malay traditional song? So, what do you think, Dr. Dr. Pornpawi? Are they familiar with dangdut song, people in Pattani, the Pattani society? It seems like you are still mute. Your voice, we cannot hear your voice. Therefore, your audio is still muted. Sorry, Dr. Pornpawi. I cannot hear your voice. Your audio is still muted. So can the host unmute the audio of Dr. Pornpawi? Is it possible?
We cannot unmute her because, but we can ask to unmute. Okay.
Oh, I'm on mute.
Oh, okay, okay.
Okay. Dangdut happened in Pattani. No, not in Pattani. I
Oh,
think maybe call. Called Dangdut.
Clear then in Thailand, yeah, Dr. Pornpawi. Okay, okay. Thank you so much,
Okay,
Dr. Pornpawi.
thank you.
Yeah, I'm just good. Probably next, I'm just going to ask the music development in Thailand. Probably after the next question, yeah, Dr. Pornpawi. Yeah. So the second one is to Pak Edi. This question is from Bu Christina Wati. Thank you, Bu Christine.
Okay, what is the question?
Yeah, why is Java Dangdut is called Dangdut Koplo? What are the elements of koplo that could be identified from the music? Or is it related to the effects after joining that kind of dangdut? Because koplo is probably delivered from the name of the one of the drugs that are used to get drunk. Pil koplo, ecstasy.
Okay. Yeah, even understanding this koplo is quite complicated, but probably for those in Pattani, I believe they are familiar with Melayu music. I believe that. Yeah. If we say Melayu music, I believe some of them are quite familiar, like Ramli and so on. But if it is dangdut, well, it's different, yeah, because dangdut can be said that it emerged from or in Jakarta, so it is quite different. And dangdut is popular if there was quite many Indonesians, just like in Hong Kong, in Korea, for example. Why dangdut is famous in Korea? Because there are many Indonesians there. In the United States, dangdut become famous when there are many Indonesian, and there are many Indonesianists like Wenthrop and so on. In regard to Javanese koplo or Java dangdut or whatever it is, first of all, there's a problem with defining Java koplo, yeah, because Java dangdut, if we Javanese, Java itself is quite complicated.
Yes, I do agree with it.
And that is the problem in Indonesia. Yeah. Last week we discussed about Indonesian food, how to promote Indonesian food.
Yep.
So define Indonesian food and how to promote that. For Thailand, for example, it is Thailand food, blah 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 blah. But Indonesian food, which one? Yeah, gudeg, rendang, or what? So Javanese dangdut is also complicated because we have like randut, yeah, jaranan dangdut.
Okay.
And then we have Jaipong dangdut. Jaipong is not Indonesian. I think it's not Java, but one of the famous Java dangdut is from Jogja, but it does not combine with local, not local, but with hip hop. So hip hop dangdut from Bantul, like that is Aksa family. Yeah. That's not Aksa. I mean, and the X family and the X music that is quite popular. So that is dangdut, but hip hop dangdut. That is also Javanese dangdut from Jogja. Okay, now let's talk about koplo. Why is it called koplo? Probably we can learn that in this case, dangdut has already been quote by quote urbanized.
Yeah.
What it means that the consumption of dangdut and the production and consumption of dangdut, it used to be on, well, the consumption used to be in villages or
yes,
on those those who considered as lower class.
Yeah. That's the question that I would like to ask.
Although Roma Irama cannot be considered as lower class, he is middle, he is rich enough, but the consumption was from the lower class. Now, those lower class peoples, many of them has, raised their living standard into middle class. So the consumption of dangdut music now, in many cases, already in contained places like karaoke, nightclubs, and so on and so on. This is a sort of urbanization.
Yes.
And we know house dangdut music and so on and so on. And when they consume this music in that scenes, this contain places like nightclubs and karaoke places, yeah, they become koplo-sized, yeah. It is related to pil koplo probably, yeah. Try koplo when you take that pill, just move your head endlessly, you become ecstasy and so on and so on. It may be related with that, and then they put that names for this dangdut. So actually, in this reflects how the social transformation of dangdut into sort of urbanized consumption in contained places like nightclubs, karaoke, and so on, with head moving because of the effect of these drugs. I agree with you, Andy. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. There are some other questions actually delivered by the audience, Paeti, to you. So the first is, what are the contributions of traditional music in university education? Then it will probably can also be answered by Professor Portawi, considering that music is very universal. It's some sort of universal language. So I think it's also. And then the second question is, what do you think about dangdut that mixed by another music, pop or something that we usually see that in dangdut competition and television? So how do you respond to that, Pak Edi and Professor Portawi? The first question first.
So who is first here?
Contribution of traditional music in university education. So,
well, in our faculty, of course, it is part of as a subject or field of study. Yeah? So it become the area of research and discussion, and although some students play music itself. So that's what I can say for now. I mean, in our Faculty of Humanities, for researchers, well, yeah, they treat music as the subject of their research. But for students, they can play. Of course, it should be support each other with. They should support each other between researchers and the development of the music itself. But I don't see. I believe in many universities, especially in those with music department or music special music department or whatever. I believe it's become more important for that. Like they are doing workshops for example, I see from Institute Seni Bandung. They have music festivals, music collaboration with other university, online music collaboration using bamboo music instruments, for example. So here is how university or higher education become very important as the what is it, the leader, or maybe, okay, the leader, quote by quote, in promoting the development of music. And this is the example when Institut Seni Bandung collaborate with musicians from France and other countries to promote and develop music instruments from bamboo. That is the example. Okay, that's from me, Pak Andi.
Yeah, thank you, Pak Edi. How about Professor Pornpawi? Is there any, relation between the traditional music to the development of the university? I beg your pardon, Mr. Professor Pornpawi, you are still muted. Aha, yes. Okay. Sorry, Professor, we cannot hear your voice. I don't know. Is it the microphone or?
Okay.
Oh yes, we can hear
yes,
now.
Yes. My university have Thai music at cultural study and cultural festivals and present Anachik and Kumpang. Okay. DK Hulu to music of local culture.
Yeah. So it has a relationship then, Professor.
Yeah, but in Songkla, PSU Songkla, Prince of Songkla University at Songkla campus have Thai music. But in southern border of Thailand, Pattani, Yalan, Narathiwat has music local.
Oh,
yes,
okay.
Local music.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, it is interesting actually to see how the traditional music is actually being embedded in the, say for example, the curriculum and as a subject of research interest and so on, because it is so. We all know that music is actually a tradition. Universal language. Everybody can understand music, and how it has become a research interest. It's very interesting. Okay. So Francis' question has been answered by both speakers, and then there are two questions. One is delivered to Pak Edi, and the other one is to Professor Pornpawi. So I'm just going to start from to Professor Pornpawi first. This is interesting. So, is there any similar method in delivering message of culture via song and dance in Thailand, especially in Pattani? So, what message is usually delivered by music in
music
Thailand?
In Thailand?
Yes.
Especially in Pattani.
Especially in Pattani. Is there any message that is actually delivered by the music in Thailand or Pattani?
Yeah, probably there are some protests or things like that.
Yeah, it is. It's probably it's a form of resistance.
Present in YouTube, in Facebook, and DK Hulu, Anachik, in many performance. Yes. And music.
Okay.
And the local music.
Okay. And to Paeti, how's dangdut music deliver the message of culture in its song?
There was one
dance?
question before this, Pak Andi. That's what the mixture of dangdut with other elements.
Which one is it?
Before this.
Oh yeah, sorry. What do you think about dangdut that mixed by another music like pop or something that we usually see in a dangdut competition?
Well, I was talking to my supervisor and I said that our neighbor. Well, I don't need to mention the neighbor. I think the neighbor was conducting an occasion, a cultural occasion about Indonesian music. And our supervisor told me that, don't worry, Eddie, they can make that exhibition, but you Indonesian are the one who are creative and producing the music. I was surprised with that answer, and then I realized that that is very, very true. Yeah, one of the reason for us to be very creative is in combining anything. So I read one article saying that there is almost no border between genre in Indonesian music.
Yeah.
There's no border at all. Yeah. So we really like to cross its border and then
yes.
And so on and so on. So it seems like that is the source of our creativity of combining again. Yeah, even in gamelan, for example, we have to note that in 18 during in early, maybe more than 100 years ago, you know, for example, Kending Mares. Kending Mares is from March, yeah, March Kending, Kending Mares. It was a combination of Gending and European marching band. Yeah, so how that is to accompany Javanese troop coming out during a festival or during ceremony. So Kending Mares, Kending marching Kending, that is one early examples. And then when there was a visit by Prince Abdul Yadev, I think from Thailand, in Jogja, there was also special Kending for the King of Thailand. So this seems that it is in our DNA, yeah, in our structure.
Our blood.
We like to combine, we like to remix, hybrid, almost everything, and this is the source of creativity. So okay, and then the next question is the last one.
Wait up. How is dangdut music deliver the message of culture in the song or dance?
Deliver the culture, yeah, of course, which dangdut.
Yeah, that's the question. Okay,
that is. It is so complicated, you know. Like, in dangdut as Indonesian music, what Indonesia?
Yeah. Okay, let's make it more specific. You've stated about koplo. What about it?
Koplo, yeah. In terms of when we refer to Wenthrop articles, Wenthrop writings about koplo. Koplo is like the local negotiation with national domination of dangdut. So dangdut presented by Roma Irama in the national media at the time has already been a national music, but local Surabaya or local East Java say, no, I want to have my own local dangdut, and that is koplo. So we can say that koplo is like identity statement, local identity statement of East Java, to say that not all dangdut is like that, but we have our own local dangdut. So if we say identity as cultural, that we can see dangdut koplo as a local identity statement by East Javanese. And if we look at special songs, of course, yeah, different song will send different message. Say, for example, the case of Jaran Goyang. Jaran Goyang, you know, Jaran Goyang was very famous song, and many people don't know what it is. But if I say Jaran Goyang, is a statement from the marginal people, those who were broken, who were rejected by the girl, and they say, but okay, you cannot reject that. I have very good weapons to make you submit to me. And this very patriarchal actually was originated in Banyuwangi and so on. This is part of a very strong traditional elements from Banyuwangi actually, this Jaran Goyang. There was also special dance about this Jaran Goyang. So Jaran Goyang is not simple thing. Yeah, this is huge thing in terms of patriarchal culture, in terms of making women submit themselves toward men and so on and so on. But it seems that it is quite popular. So I can say that usually good music will refer to culture.
Yeah.
Okay, that's.
Thank you so much, Pak Edi. If there's no other question, oh yeah, for Farasid Par's question. So it will be, unfortunately, Dr. Bordan is unavailable at the moment. So the question will be answered later after we have emailed Dr. Bordin and he answered the question. So we are going to send you an email for that, for Farah Sidpart. Thank you so much for the question. And then the last one, I would like to probably be myself. I am so curious with how PSU is actually having some sort of event for their freshmen, from its freshmen. Say, for example, in Dr. Bordin's presentation, there's what's so called as Jacaranda Blossoms. It's some sort of trails from one spot, one religious spot to the other religious spot to introduce the multiculturalism in Thailand. And then also in in Professor Pornpawi's presentation, there's a development of 5 batiks and also Jabang Makan Market. It is some sort of Pattani heritage trail, and it is the same trail like what Dr. Bardin has stated. So my question to Professor Pattani is, so is there any, I mean, what's the message for the students to have or to develop what's so called as quote unquote 5 batik, and also having some sort of event in Jabang Makan Market? So what is it for the students? Is there any special aim or special purpose for the students to join those events in PSU, whether it is in Jabang Makan Market or in Jacaranda Blossoms?
Okay. Yeah. Students participate in my project, and yes, particularly in PSU Pattani, to all students participate in project of our Pattani campus, all Pattani campus. I think next project in PSU Hat Yai. Okay.
Okay.
Yes. I present to Facebook and to YouTube, and have a blogger and do write and guide to Facebook into many younger, yes, many blogger in at Pattani, and to tourist to came to last month came to at Pattani, yes, and student and practice and to guide in Jabang Makan, in Kidajino, in Jabang Tigo at Pattani, and culture guide subject, miracle wisdom subject, and creative craft subject in many students as legislatives in this subject. Yes, more than 500 people. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, Dr. Edi Dwirianto and also Professor Associate Professor Pornpawi and also Dr. Borden. So since there's no questions left and all of them have been answered. Oh, there's one student from Thailand, Chirayut from Naratiwat, who sing dangdut song very well. Maybe dangdut song will be familiar soon in Thailand. Hope so, yeah. I'm just going to recap everything, starting from the first speaker to the last one. So Dr. Borden has already stated by its Jacaranda Blossoms event. It is some sort of event for the freshmen to go from one religious spot to the other religious spot to deal with multiculturalism in Thailand. And there are 5 important things that are being delivered by Dr. Borden. Fun, and then it should be loosely structured, and then it should be collaborating with each other, and then they participate, students, they participate from the beginning, and they have some sort of recapitulation of all. And then it is the same notion to Professor Pornpawi's presentation, in which she delivered the occasion or event in delivering in Lima Batik, and also Jabang Market, Jabang Makan Market in Pattani Heritage Trail. So she also delivered that everything must be fun, everything must be friendly, and must be beneficial for the students. And also the fun part is also being explained by Pak Edi Dwirianto in having koplos, dangdut koplo as the quote-unquote new dangdut version, the hybrid and remix version of dangdut music, in which the fun part, so from what I see over here, in order to relate between the youngsters and also the youngsters and the traditional culture, the most important thing that needs to be done is actually embedding what's so-called as the fun part, as already stated by Dr. Borden just now. So when it comes to fun, the young generations would quote-unquote sacrificing their lives to develop traditional music on its own way. Like, for example, in Pak Edi's explanation, the koplo dangdut is actually the manifestations of the what so-called as the word fun, and also the word new, and it is embedded and it is remixed and it is a combined and mixture, and then it comes the new dangdut. And when it comes to it, Pak Edi has also stated that in which Kabugiro is delivered by using modern instruments, then it is more fun compared to when it is represented in traditional way. So therefore, the main it's not really the main point. One of the main points of how to relate between traditional values or traditional cultures to youngsters is actually placed on its fun part, and then by within its fun part, the younger generations will start to create and develop something new that is actually close to them, and they would like to develop it further into their own culture. So I think that's all. Thank you so much, Professor Pornpawi, and thank you so much, Pak Edi Dwirianto, and thank you so much for the committee of this webinar. So by my closing statement, so I would like to return, good afternoon everybody, and I would like to return to the Master of Ceremony. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, Mr. Andy, for moderating this webinar. And I'd like to thank our speakers today for the interesting discussion as well. Before we disperse, I'd like to promote a series of events of Erlangga Global Day that you can enjoy and take a part. First, we have cultural showcase, expose your local tradition to the world. That will be held on November 24th. And we also have storytelling competition with the theme from traditional to global recognition that will be held starting from today, 23rd until 24th of November. And then we have Erlangga Flatten the Curve competition that will be held on 23rd until 24th. And aside from this webinar, you can also join the next webinar, which is Innovation in Teaching and Learning for Professional Education in Health Science. And we also have info sessions from many universities, such as University of Twente, the Netherlands, and also we also have the representative from University of Hokkaido and other educational institution. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of the session. On behalf of Erlangga Global Engagement Universitas Erlangga, I would like to convey our gratitude for the discussion we had today. Finally, I, Nastiti, as the MC in all the organizing committee of Erlangga Global Day, would like to encourage the participants to fill a satisfaction survey that we already put in the chat box, and we will distribute the link to your email as well. Your feedback will be very much appreciated. Thank you, and I hope for us good luck and see you in the next webinar. Have a great day, everyone. Thank you.